Hey, how's everybody doing? Just wanted to show you guys one of my new favorite Perdigon flies. This past year has been super fun with this bug. Got my last trip, I think, next week for the year, so just towards the end of October, and I'm starting to think about fly tying, and this is one of the bugs that I'm gonna stock up in my boxes. Typically I use this bug on the Blackfoot, the Madison, mostly freestones. I'm sure it would work on the Missouri River too, but it's basically in pheasant tail colors, size 18, and man, it was just saved the day a number of times when other Perdigon colors didn't seem to work. This one, they just ate it up. It's super simple to tie, so figured I'd share it with you guys and let you guys see what you think out there. Anyway, tie some up. I think you'll really like the way this thing works. It's, like I said, easy to tie, and I'll go through some of the materials for you in just a second. So in order to tie this, I've got some Coq de Leon. Typically I will tie this with the lower end of these fibers. I find the big ones to be a little bit just don't show up as the tail too much. And then I'm using bone dry in black for the wing case, and just clear bone dry for the actual body of the fly, and then a red, and this is a 70. You can see, so instead of putting the pattern, I guess, in the, and then a tan color for the body. So this is the pheasant tail. And one of the things that you'll find whenever you put the glue on this, you know, this is probably a little bit lighter than most pheasant tails that you'll see out there, but it darkens up quite a bit once you hit it with the lacquer. And then last, what I'm trying to do is match what peacock herl would look like with something flashy. So this thing sinks really fast. It's got a very thin, if I can tell if that's upside down or not, it's got a really thin body. So any stream that you're you know, fishing this and you need to get down fast, everybody knows pheasant tails are really good. This is my version of the pheasant tail in a Perdigon. And I've been using this hook, and I've been using a tungsten bead for a size 18, like I just showed you, in a 2.4 millimeter, and I'm not using a slotted. It's a jigged hook, and I'll show you what it looks like. You guys be the judge whether you needed to have a slotted bead on there or not. For me, I don't think so. So anyway, let's start up the fly, and I'll show you how quickly it is to tie. You can kind of bang these things out, and man, this color scheme really works. It's got a little bit of flash, just looks a lot like a pheasant tail, and man, it worked super good this year. So whenever you see me throwing nymphs and I got a Perdigon on, this is probably going to be one of my first flies that I'm going to try. Okay, so I'm just going to show you the finished fly first so you guys can see it. You can see, hopefully it's clear enough for you. I've got the black wing case on top, the brown body. You can see the bead, a little bit of a hot spot in there. And yeah, this is the start. So here we go. I'm just going to select my hook. It's always fun trying to capture these little beads here. And see if I can do this fairly quick for you. All right. I'm going to pull my magnifier down here a little bit. All right. So we're going to start with the tail, and this is pretty thick thread. I probably could go with something a little bit thinner, so I'm actually have to be pretty careful in terms of how many turns with the brown thread. And as I said before, trying to select something down lower. When I first started, I grabbed a couple, I'll call them bigger fibers, and had a tough time with the tail. I don't know how you guys do with the tails, but I usually kind of splay it out. See if I can do that. Yeah, show you. Splay it out a little bit, and then I try to grab them because I want even fibers when I do it. And I'm probably grabbing about 8 or 9. I know some people use a lot less. And then I take my thumb and I kind of bump it, and it will line them up. So Probably takes a little bit of time to do that, but I like the way it looks. And the tail's not super long. I try to get it maybe the width of the gap of the hook. And you can see I'm putting these, it's probably good if you uncord this a little bit and get your thread to be more flattened out as possible with this Vivus anyway. So you can see the color of this. When we hit it with the glue, it really looks pretty close to what you'd see in a pheasant tail. And typically what I do is from here is I'm just going to pop a quick half hitch in there, and I'm going to snip it off, and I'm going to change my thread now. See how fast this fly is. It's a pretty good guide pattern to. You don't mind if you're losing these bugs because they're super simple to tie. So, and then the last thing we're going to do is we're just going to select a little bit of this peacock color, and that's, I think it's peacock and orange. It's orange under the body and peacock that we're going to show. And stuff is it's not real. It'd be nice if it was maybe a little bit thicker, but anyway, it's not too difficult to use. You can pull a chunk off and tie a lot of flies with it. The chunk I just pulled off will do that. So just gonna go and maybe a third, a quarter of the way I'm gonna highlight it with red, and I'm gonna cover it up and just cover the red up as we go. And the last little bit of hot spot will be just at the front there. And we're just gonna cover this all the way forward, and then here we're gonna come in and pop that hot spot in there. We're literally, aside from the gluing, done with this fly. And just gonna find my whip finish real quick. Just gonna put a little bit more prominence on that hot spot. There we go. You don't need a whole lot of turns. Okay. Alright, now we're going to start with the clear, and hopefully you can see this okay. Just going to brush it on lightly, and this is where you guys judge whether or not we need there's a little bit of a gap on the top. I don't know if you can see it. Little gap there that I'm going to end up filling in. So what I'll end up doing is I'll hit it a few times with the light as a result. And one of the things that you find if you just load up this gap right off the bat, it will run down into the eye of the hook, which I don't like. So sometimes you'll see me take it and actually keep it sideways, or some way to fill it up. So it may take 2 or 3 times. Sometimes I'll get it in one shot to fill up. And then the last thing we'll do is we're just going to pop the wing case on there. And it's going to be black, and it's just going to sit right on top. So now this stuff, I don't know, it's kind of, it will, if you put too much on, it will wrap right around the fly. So I'm trying to be careful. That's probably enough right there. And it'll bleed around anyway once you hit it with the light. So another reason not to go too heavy there. And I'm just going to pop a little bit more on to touch over the top of that green. Depending on how new your bottle is, you got to be prudent in how much you give it there. And again, I'm just topping that wing case. And that's it. That's your super simple Perdigon, and this thing catches fish. Looks a lot like a pheasant tail. It's got that peacock color on it. It's got that red hot spot, and then it's got that body that's a lot like a pheasant tail. This thing crushes them. Anyway, hope you guys like it. Fish it. You'll be surprised it's going to catch the fish for you.